In this video, I'm documenting what was ultimately quite a lazy week, having just returned back from an amazing trip to Paris. It was just kind of settling back into our usual routine and facing a bit of normality after an incredible time away.
So for me, the morning is my favorite time of the day. It's when I'm like the most productive. It's what I look forward to. I feel like the morning has the most potential in the whole day. So I treat it very preciously. So I kind of do all these little, I suppose, rituals that make my morning more special and set me up for the day. And one of these kind of, I suppose, sillier rituals was I got this calendar as a gift for my birthday this year, and it basically is like each day you get a new painting. So today's one is Bronzino's portrait of Maria de Medici. Like a lot of the artwork that the calendar shows I've never seen before, which is nice. This one now, Bronzino, I know. I'd seen some of Bronzino's work in the Uffizi, I believe, and I have this postcard that I had gotten from there. I think it was also of Maria de Medici, but it's in this like classic blue background that's kind of reminiscent of Holbein's portrait of Anne of Cleves and Jane Seymour. And it's really, really striking portrait, and I think it is also Maria de Medici. I really like his style of painting, but a lot of the artwork that comes up in these calendars I've never seen before. So it is a nice way to kind of introduce, like there's a lot of photography in there, there's some really beautiful portraits. I'll actually find one that I really like that came up this month. It was this one. It's unknown French photographer Jean Hebertin, 1914. So I think it's just one little thing that can, make getting up in the morning a little bit more fun. Today's date is also my brother's birthday. July just has so many birthdays packed in for our family. Like it's just such a hectic month for birthdays. So I have to go visit my family, and it's my cousin's birthday next week, so it's just making gift after gift after gift, which is so annoying. In my family, all our birthdays tend to tie up with the water signs in astrology. Even, I'm a Pisces, and my two brothers accordingly are Scorpio and Cancer. So the three of us represent, each sign of the water element in the zodiac, which is funny. A very sensitive household growing up. I don't know if that's something maybe that could be of interest for this channel to go into a bit more. I think I would only ever take a light-hearted approach. I am not an academic in this, but I've been interested in astrology for years. I don't take it as fact, it's just something I find interesting, something I found a lot of resonance in myself personally, and I just think it's a bit of fun. It's a really old tradition that unfortunately has been tainted by people capitalizing upon it for financial gain. It's become something, especially horoscopes have become something very exploitative. You think of tabloids, you think of the exploitation of families that have missing kids, and I think you have to be aware of these things and acknowledge these things when looking into astrology. But I tend to separate those two. Like horoscopes are something very different to me than just the study of a birth chart, and I tend to focus on that, analysing my birth chart, my placements, stuff like that. That's where I find interest in it anyway, because it is a funny one. I do find resonance with it, and I think it's quite emblematic of even my birth chart. Like I'm a sun in Pisces, but I have a Virgo rising, so I think this conflict between the logical and the spiritual has always been something that's been very prevalent in my life. And it's funny that even with the topic of astrology, it comes up too. I've plenty of things I can rant about, like even, the monarchy was touched on. That's a huge area of interest for me, especially the British monarchy. Since I was a child, I've had such a huge fascination with just the lineage of the royal family. Not so much the modern royal family. I tend to focus on the War of the Roses era, the Tudors, how the Tudors came to be. It might be an interesting discussion to tie it in with art, so, focusing on Holbein and areas of history that are interesting to me, and just talking about them, sparking a conversation with others, because I'm sure there's people that are far more knowledgeable about these areas than I am. But it might be an interesting start to a conversation.
So back in September, I was able to quit my part-time job just so I could focus entirely on my final year of art college. And now that I'm done my degree, I kind of have to snap back to reality and get a part-time job again. So I was just going out handing out CVs, trying to find somewhere that's within my discipline, within art, as opposed to hospitality again. But yeah, it's just the real life struggle, I suppose. Finishing university, I do these paint classes every now and again. They're just not enough to sustain yourself financially, but they're a bit of fun. So this here is the makeup that I did for my cousin's birthday. It is also my go-to makeup in general if I'm getting dressed up. Like, this is probably the most makeup I'd ever wear. As someone whose features just don't seem to suit the glam makeup looks that are popular today, I have found that vintage makeup has been a great fallback, particularly of the 1960s. I just find that it suits my features a little bit more. It's just all about putting emphasis on the eyes and just accentuating the rest of the features, you know, just highlighting them, trying to keep it natural, trying to keep it youthful. I just find that other makeup just ends up looking really cakey on me. So it took me a long time to kind of find something that works for me, and I find that vintage looks just tend to do that. I can do a dedicated, more in-depth video on my makeup if you would be interested. I know I did quite a few of them in the past and they seem to do quite well. So if there is an interest, I will do it. But maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's really bad actually. Maybe don't do what I